People always say never pick up hitchhikers, but after what happened to me, I understand why rideshare apps exist. I'd been driving for rideshare for about 6 months, mostly weekend afternoons when the pay surged. That Friday afternoon, I was working the route between Millfield and the college towns. The ping came in around 4:30. Victor Campbell, pickup at the bus station on 4th Lane, 5-star rating, over 200 rides. Normal passenger requesting a ride to Riverside Plaza, about 40 minutes away. I needed one more trip to hit my daily goal. Victor was waiting by the bench with a small duffel bag. Mid-40s, jeans and baseball cap, nothing unusual. He got in the back seat without much conversation. "Riverside Plaza, right?" I asked, pulling away. "Yeah, that's right." His voice was quiet, polite. He was looking out the window, fidgeting with his phone. The first 20 minutes passed normally, but as we got closer to Riverside Plaza, I started noticing things in my rearview mirror. Victor wasn't just checking his phone, he was turning it face down after looking at it. When he looked in the side mirror, his eyes would dart to the back window immediately after, like he was tracking something behind us. "Actually," he said when we were about 5 minutes out, "could we maybe drive around a little longer? I'll pay extra." I glanced at him in the mirror. The app shows Riverside Plaza as your destination. Could we take the long way? I'll give you 50 cash on top of the fare." $50 was tempting. My car payment was due Monday, and I was still short. "I need to see the cash first." Victor immediately pulled out his wallet and handed me 2 20s and a 10. "Can we please just drive around?" I took the money and kept driving past Riverside Plaza. Victor seemed to relax, but he kept checking the mirrors, turning around to look out the back window. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, everything's fine, just keep driving." But Victor was getting more agitated. His knee was bouncing, and he kept running his hands through his hair. When I stopped at a red light, he leaned forward. "Don't stop here too long." "It's a red light, I have to stop." "When it turns green, go fast, okay?" The light changed and I drove normally. Victor sat back with a frustrated sigh. "Look, I need to know what's going on," I said. "Are you in some kind of trouble?" "I just need to stay moving. These people, they're looking for me." My stomach dropped. "What people?" "It doesn't matter. Just keep driving, please." "I think we should head back toward Riverside Plaza." "No!" Victor's voice was sharp. "I can't go there. They'll find me there." "Then where do you want to go?" "I don't know. Just away from here." Victor suddenly grabbed the back of my seat. "Turn right here. Right now." "That's not the way to—" "Turn right." He was leaning forward, his face close to my ear. "I said turn right." I turned right, my hands shaking. We were heading into a rural area, fewer cars, fewer people. "Victor, I think we should go back to town. Maybe call the police." "No police." He was gripping my seat hard. "No police, no town, just keep driving." I can't just drive around forever. I have other passengers. Cancel them. I'm not canceling them. I'm taking you back to Riverside Plaza. I started to slow down, looking for a place to turn around. That's when Victor lost it. "Don't you dare stop this car!" He lunged forward and grabbed the steering wheel. The car swerved and I fought to maintain control. "Let go! You're going to get us killed." "I can't get out. Don't you understand? I can't get out anywhere." I managed to pull to the side of the road, my heart pounding. Victor was still gripping the wheel. "Victor, let go of the steering wheel. Promise me you won't make me get out." "I can't promise that. This ride is over." "No, it's not." His voice cracked. "If you make me get out, they'll find me. And if they find me, they'll hurt me. I could see the desperation in his eyes. Whatever trouble Victor was in, he was genuinely terrified. But I was terrified too. I'm sorry about whatever's happening, but I can't help you. I'm just a driver. Then just drive. That's all I'm asking. Victor, let go of the steering wheel, and we can figure this out. He loosened his grip slightly. You don't understand. If I get out of this car, I'm dead. I waited until we came to a red light at an intersection with other cars around. Then I looked at Victor in the mirror. Okay, I'll keep driving. Just let me think about the best route. Victor relaxed his grip. The light turned green, and I started moving forward slowly. Thank you, he said. Thank you so much. But instead of accelerating, I stopped the car in the intersection, threw it in park, grabbed my keys, and jumped out. Hey! Victor shouted, but I was already running toward the gas station, yelling for someone to call 911. I never found out what kind of trouble Victor was in, or whether those people ever found him. All I know is that I couldn't risk finding out what would happen if I kept driving. I still drive for rideshare, but I trust my instincts now. The moment a passenger makes me uncomfortable, the ride ends. No amount of money is worth wondering if you'll make it home safe. Every time I see a work truck on the highway, I think about what happened during that construction job in Ohio. I was working temp construction that summer, bouncing between contractors who needed extra hands. When the temp agency told me Helen Clark had specifically requested me for a week-long flooring job 3 hours south, I was flattered. She'd remembered my work from a previous site and wanted someone reliable. Bradley, right? Helen said when I showed up Monday morning. I remember you from the Miller warehouse job. You actually listen. The crew was small. Helen, myself, and Margaret Patterson, another temp worker. Helen drove the work truck, and during the drive down, she talked about flooring techniques and job site stories, treating me like someone worth training. I'd never had a real mentor before. We got 3 motel rooms for the week. Helen handed me and Margaret our keys, and we agreed to meet for breakfast at 7. Actually, Bradley, Helen said as Margaret headed to her room, we should go over tomorrow's layout. The blueprints are in my room. Give me an hour, then come by. I knocked on Helen's door at 8:30. She'd changed into jeans and a t-shirt, had a beer in her hand, and blueprints spread on the table. We went over the floor plan, talked about the install approach, but when I got up to leave, Helen put her hand on my shoulder. You remind me of myself when I was starting out, eager to learn, hardworking. Her hand lingered longer than it should have. When she finally moved it, her fingers brushed down my arm. Tuesday's work went smoothly. Helen showed me advanced techniques, let me handle complex cuts. At lunch, she sat next to me, sometimes leaning over to point out things in the manual, her shoulder pressed against mine. You're getting this faster than most people I train, she said, looking at my hands. You've got good hands. Something about her tone made my skin crawl. That evening, Helen suggested we all get dinner. At the restaurant, she maneuvered, so I sat next to her, kept finding reasons to touch my arm when she talked. Margaret excused herself early. Helen insisted on paying the check. Consider it part of your training. Good mentors invest in their people. Walking back, Helen talked about her divorce, how lonely road work could be. You should come by my room again tonight. I've got some trade magazines you might find interesting. I made an excuse about being tired, but Helen looked disappointed. Wednesday was when things got uncomfortable. Helen started positioning me away from Margaret, sending me to get supplies or measure different rooms. When we were alone, she'd stand unnecessarily close, her hands covering mine on the tools. You need to feel the right pressure, she'd say, pressing herself against my back. I tried to step away, but she'd follow. "Relax, Bradley. I'm just trying to teach you." That evening, Helen knocked on my door with trade magazines. "I brought those magazines," she said. I let her in because I didn't know how to say no. She was my supervisor, the person who could recommend me for future jobs or blacklist me. Helen sat on my bed and patted the space next to her. I sat in the chair by the window instead. She flipped through a magazine, but kept looking at me. "You're different from other guys I've worked with, more sensitive. I like that." She moved to perch on the arm of my chair. "The construction world can be tough. We need to stick together." Her hand was on my shoulder, then sliding down my chest. "Helen, I think we should keep things professional." She laughed, but not in a friendly way. "Professional? We're sharing motel rooms and working 12-hour days. There's nothing professional about this." Her hand was still moving, and I grabbed her wrist. "Please don't." Helen's expression changed. The friendly mentor mask slipped. "You know, Bradley, I've been doing this a long time. Guys who don't appreciate good mentorship usually find it hard to get recommended for decent jobs." The threat was clear. "I think you should go back to your room," I said. Helen stood up slowly. "Think about what I said, about sticking together. There's a lot more I could teach you." Thursday was torture. Helen kept finding ways to isolate me, whisper comments about my potential, make it clear she was waiting for me to come around. I skipped dinner, stayed in my room, but Helen showed up anyway. "We need to talk," she said, pushing past me. She sat on the bed and looked at me directly. "I've been patient, but patience has limits. You want to keep working construction, you need people who'll vouch for you. Helen, I just want to work. Then show me you're grateful." She stood up and moved toward me. I backed toward the door, but she was faster, blocking my path. "Don't make this difficult, Bradley. I've been good to you." When she reached for me, I panicked. I bit down hard on her hand when she grabbed my face, tasted blood, heard her scream. Then I was clawing at her arms, scratching, kicking, anything to get away. Helen stumbled backward, cursing, holding her bleeding hand. I grabbed my keys and ran. I spent that night in my car at a 24-hour diner, calling the temp agency to report what happened. They said they'd investigate, but Helen had been with them for years. I never worked construction again. Every time I see a work truck on the highway, I wonder how many other people Helen mentored, and whether any of them were able to fight back. My weekend road trip routine never varied until I agreed to meet someone from a dating app halfway between our cities. I'd been on dating apps for about 8 months with the usual mix of conversations that went nowhere. Stephen Patterson was different. We'd been chatting for 3 weeks, and he actually seemed interested in getting to know me first. When he suggested meeting halfway, it felt reasonable. "There's this rest stop on Highway 9, he wrote. "I know it sounds random, but my sister's car broke down there last month, and it's actually really safe. Well lit, security cameras, and there's a 24-hour diner right across the street. Plus, it's exactly halfway." The security cameras and nearby diner made it sound safe. The rest stop was further out than expected. Highway 9 was mostly farmland and scattered houses. I left around 11:30 Friday night, figuring I'd get there around midnight. When I pulled into the parking lot, I immediately saw the problems with Stephen's description. The rest stop wasn't well lit, just flickering fluorescent lights over an old building. No security cameras I could see. And there was no diner across the street, just empty farmland. Only 2 abandoned cars in the parking lot. Headlights appeared around 12:15. A pickup truck pulled in, and the driver checked his phone. Stephen got out as I did. He looked like his pictures, tall, brown hair, jeans and flannel. But the first thing he said was, "Damn, You're shorter than I expected. Not nice to meet you, just an immediate evaluation. I'm 5'4", same as my profile, I said. Yeah, but photos can be deceiving. At least your face looks right. He was circling around me, looking me up and down. I could smell beer on his breath. Have you been drinking? Just a couple beers. I was nervous. He stopped directly in front of me, standing too close. Don't worry about it. So where's that diner you mentioned? Stephen glanced around like he was noticing the empty surroundings for the first time. Oh. Huh. Maybe it's further down the road. You said it was right across the street. Did I? I don't remember saying that. He shrugged. Doesn't matter. We're here now. Stephen stepped closer. I could feel the heat coming off his body, smell the beer and cigarettes. I think I should head home, I said, stepping back. He immediately stepped forward, maintaining the close distance. Already? We just met. This isn't what you described. You said there were security cameras and a diner. So, we can still talk. I drove 2 hours to meet you. And I drove 2 hours too, but so give me a chance. He touched my arm. 5 minutes. Is that too much to ask? I pulled away. I think we should meet somewhere else. Maybe during the day, at an actual restaurant. Stephen's expression changed. The friendly mask slipped completely. What? You think I'm some kind of creep? You think I drove all the way out here to hurt you? I just prefer first meetings to be in public places. This is public. It's a rest stop. I looked around at the empty parking lot, the broken lights, the farmland. This isn't public. This is isolated. You're being paranoid. Stephen moved to block my path when I tried to step around him. I'm not being paranoid. I'm being smart. Smart would be giving me a fair chance instead of judging me. His voice was getting louder, hands clenching at his sides. Stephen, I need you to move so I can get to my car. We haven't even had a real conversation yet. We're having one right now, and I don't like how it's going. Because I asked you to give me 5 minutes? He was standing directly between me and my car now, arms crossed. Because you lied about this place, because you've been drinking, and because you won't let me leave. I'm not stopping you from leaving. Then move. I will, after we talk. What do you want to talk about? Why you're being so cold when we had such good conversations? Our conversations were through text. This is different. Different how? I didn't want to list all the ways he'd made me uncomfortable. That would just make him angrier. Just different. Look, maybe we can try this again. Stephen grabbed my arm, hard, with his fingers digging into my skin. Stop trying to leave. Just stop. You're hurting me. I'm barely touching you. But his grip was tight enough that I knew it would leave bruises. I could see the anger in his face, the entitlement that said I owed him something. Stephen, let go of my arm right now. Not until you stop acting like I'm some kind of monster. I'm a good guy. Look at our messages. Nice guys don't grab people when they try to leave. That was the wrong thing to say. Stephen's face twisted with rage. Nice guys finish last, right? Maybe I should stop being so fucking nice. I yanked my arm away and ran toward the rest stop building. Stephen shouted after me, his footsteps pounding behind me. The bathroom door was open. I ran inside and slammed it shut, turning the deadbolt just as Stephen reached it. He pounded on the door immediately. Amy, come out here, this is ridiculous. I pressed my back against the door and fumbled for my phone. I drove 2 hours to meet you. The least you can do is give me a real chance. The pounding got harder. I could hear him throwing his body against the door. I dialed 911 with shaking fingers. 911, what's your emergency? I'm trapped in a bathroom at a rest stop on Highway 9. There's a man trying to get in. He grabbed me and won't let me leave. Stephen heard me talking and started banging harder. Are you calling the cops? I didn't do anything wrong. Ma'am, what's your exact location? I gave them the mile marker. The operator said a patrol car was on the way. You're going to ruin my life over nothing, Stephen screamed. I never even touched you. For 15 minutes, I sat on the bathroom floor listening to Stephen try different ways to get in. He pounded on the door, tried the windows, walked around looking for another entrance. Then I heard a car engine start. By the time police arrived, Stephen was gone. They took my statement, drove me to my car, followed me to the highway. I deleted my dating apps the next day. Every time someone suggests online dating, I think about that rest stop bathroom, the sound of fists on the door, the way Stephen's voice changed when he didn't get what he wanted. Some risks just aren't worth taking.